All right, so what are we going to do? We will look into something that is the context of writing to, okay, reading and writing to a file. Fine. So we know for sure from whatever we've studied so far that we can actually use dictionary to kind of give the literal meaning, okay, the literal meaning of what? Words. Say like we tried designing something yesterday, right? Say on something that has to do with Bahubali, then we try to give some meaning, right? So we looked at some stuff and we looked at, so far we have studied what? Literally all the types, yes? Strings, tuples, sets, what again? Dictionary, yes or no? So fine. And then we tried doing a couple of things on that. Yes, fine. And then we looked at some of the sets method and some starting things like that. And that was it actually. So today we start with what? Text files. The essence of text files. All right. So usually I say the essence of Googling, but anyway, that's fine. So today being day 12, that is when is Tuesday actually. Tuesday. Okay, so which is 23, 11, 21. So this is our day 12 of 50. All right, so what are we going to look at now? So we can do interesting things with what? Text files. So we call it what? Working with text file. Couple of things and then we get to the hands-on session. Working with text files. TXT files, FILES. Fine. Now, please remember, now text file now, let's limit it to what? .txt. Now we look at text files. Actually, what is a text file? In case if you are just starting, you might be thinking, okay, what is this guy actually saying? He will come and confuse us here. So what is a text file? Because here we get to this, okay, word list, why I kept it here. So examples of text files, yes or no? So let's take help from Google, text file. What is it actually? Fine. So it says a text file is a kind of computer file that is structured. Please listen. That is what? Structured as a sequence of lines of electronic text. A text file can be stored within a computer. So, did you see this? By default, you are having what? .txt. Yes or no? So, apart from this, when we say it's structured, what are text file formats? So, we are looking for our text file formats, okay? Or extension, text file extension. That's what I want to look at now. So, you see here, .doc is a text file, .docs, ODT, open data format, fine. PDF, fine. RTF, fine. Text, that is from LaTeX, fine. TXT, plain text, and WPD. So let's focus mostly on TXT now to avoid confusion. When we get to advanced concept, fine, we can actually read TXT, and we actually miss CSV actually. CSV is actually here, okay, it's .csv. And then you see lots of them. So you got the concept of what we're going to do. So let's start by creating a simple text file. So since you know that text file includes anything with the extension name as .doc, that is compatible version of what Microsoft Documents, or versus .docs, recent versions, right? Fine, you have seen it is like what what exe is not a text file, obviously .txt and .csv. So we can, well, let's focus mostly on txt for now, all right? Now, example. So I want to create a text file called, okay, let's write some stuff. Hey, yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And I'm going to show you something from yesterday's message. Okay? Yes, from yesterday's message, something actually happened there. Okay? Do you know who I am? Fine. I said, obviously, you are the son of your you are the son of a soil. Okay, we normally say like that in Nigeria. Obviously, you are a student. You are human. Okay, you are a student. Okay, something like this. Please listen. I'll tell you why I'm deliberately giving you new lines. So you see, yesterday we tried reading this text file. In case if you didn't follow, let me just show you what we meant by that. Yesterday, let me open the 11. Open. I will show you what I meant by this. Okay. Now, please, guys, pay attention here. Please pay attention here. If you go here, remember I created a text file. Okay, which I called Bahubali, right? I went online, yes or no? I downloaded something that has to do with Bahubali, right? And I read this. I did not use a method, which we're going to see now. I only used that read. When I opened this, we saw some stuff, okay? So can I actually comment this out and show you what I mean? I'll show you what I mean, and then I'll show you how we can actually modify this, okay? Now, here, this is the text. I only read the text, yes or no? So when I open this now, let's run this. I believe I commented out everything. Okay, so let me just run this now and then show you what I'm trying to explain. So you see here, it is called what? It's called texts. Okay, sorry, please. Okay, it's called, go back here. It's called text. Okay, so when I type text, T-E-X-T, now see what I got. It says 85 squeeze text. Now look here. Did you see all these slash n, guys? Okay, so we're going to remove this slash n. Okay, slash n, slash n, slash n, slash n, new line. So by default, if you go back and check, inside here it's called Bahubali border text. So when I maximize this, please listen. This was how it was yesterday. Yes or no, guys? And I told you, okay, what you can do is to try to clean up the mess, okay, by doing something like this. But again, whenever it reaches the end of the string, what it will do what now? It will put slash n because it has read this as a line and it's reading this as another line. So we're going to look at an invert method that will help us to strip out this. Okay, so we don't need to get this new line. So that was why deliberately I'm writing this. I hope this is clear. Fine. Okay, let me save this and then let me get back here. Okay, and leave this guy out and just continue. Okay, so this new line will be created by default. So by, you see here, slash n, something like that, slash n, something like that. Now I'm done. So I'm going to save this as what? Maybe I call it text.txt. Okay, let me say some hint, so maybe like some hints, hint.txt. Fine. Now I have saved this file, yes or no? But pay very close attention. When you are saving the file, to avoid confusion, please look here. Where my program like day11.org, okay, let me maximize this guy. Day11, you can actually see day11 is here, okay? Okay, inside day11.python here, I have my Bahubali. Yes or no? So you see they are in the same directory. So I have my Bahubali. Let's say this Bahubali is on the desktop. I'll copy this guy. Okay, go here, I paste it on the desktop. Fine. Once I paste it on the desktop, okay, look here. I paste it on the desktop. It's here, Bahubali, okay? So once it is now on the desktop, I need to now, let's say I want to open it from here. I need to put the what? Relative path, right or no? Go to properties. Now this is what I need. I need to copy C:Victor, whatever dash that. Okay, this completely I need to copy. Okay, guys. So after I copy this now, I will say slash bahubali.txt. So to avoid this confusion, okay, make sure your text file is in the same directory with whatever you're going to do. Okay, so now I've saved it here. So once this is done now let's say, see, this is called hint. Okay, now I now need to load this file. Okay, so the file is saved. Step 1, create a file. Step 1, create the file. Create the file. Obviously, after creating, you have to, don't forget to save. Don't forget to save. Save in what? In same location. So this is done. We have created, we have saved it. Let's go to step 2 now. Step 2 now says now we need to read this file. Yes or no? Because we want to work with it, right? So one of the easiest way, okay, to read this file is use what we call wordlist comprehension. You know that, right? So let's say we want to read it into what lines, okay? So lines of text, fine. We now say, okay, fine. Using this comprehension, we say line in. Now, before we say line in, we want to use this method called strip, S-T-R-I-P, okay? So you're going to see it practically, don't worry. Strip, then I'll say for, maybe I'll say for line, whatever, okay? For line, okay? I'll use blue for, okay, blue and red, so avoid confusion. For line, then in, this in operator works, right? Fine. So instead of saying open, as we have seen yesterday, so we are using this. Strip it and then go back there and say open, right? So open what now? What is it called? Hint.txt. Hint.txt. Now another thing here, please listen. Since it's a text file, we have to put it as a string. Okay? So this is done. Now we cover this. Yes or no? Fine. Then this is going to print whatever is here without slash n. It will print it on a new line. Fine. So output will give us what? A new line. Okay. Output what? Lines of text or the string without slash n. String output without slash n. Without slash n. Without this guy. Slash n. Okay. So what made that slash n not to appear? Because of this strip method. Done. Okay. So that is it. We are going to compare this strip method alone with also like how we opened it yesterday. How did you open it yesterday? Do you remember? So we called, like we said, like this. No, yesterday we saw that we said lines equals what? Open. That's it. And then we said what now? Hint dot txt. That's all. That is not over yet. Txt. This will not open, right? We are reading it. Yes or no? That was what we did yesterday. Fine. Okay, so since we've got this now, what we're going to do is we need to now write to this file. Okay, so let's say now we have done what opening, yes or no? Okay, so can we think that this opening, what have we done so far? We read a file, reading a file or files. So this is done. Now let's write to a file. Okay, so the second whatever objective, writing to a file or files / files. Fine. So now there will be several ways. Okay. So let's say we want to write to a file. Now remember hint.txt is what we read. Let's say we want to write to a file, we call it write. Okay, or we write w hint. Sorry. We have read this, yes or no? So let's write to this hint. So we're gonna call it w hint. Okay, where this one starts to write. Okay, write to hint, write to hint. Fine. Now hint whint.txt is the file to be written to. So we now need to remember one thing, okay? If you want to be able to write this, we need to append another we say what do you call it? We need to open it first of all for writing, okay? And then we have to use this letter W. So let's just take an example, okay? So let's say first this is the file to be written to. Fine. Now we will now say, okay, let's say we call let's use line. So we say line equals something like that. We open that, okay? Now this is say w hints dot txt. Fine. Dot txt. Now this txt, we're going to open it for writing, no doubt. Fine. Now we have opened it. Please remember, at this stage, you can actually write to an existing one, no doubt. We try to write to this, or we are actually creating a new one. Now remember, w hint is not existing. Yes or no, guys? It's not existing. .txt. Okay. So we are writing entirely to a new one which is not existing. We can also update an existing one. In that case, we just go back and say hint. Okay. So once this is done now, let's add some stuff inside it. Yes or no? So let's go and now write something inside it. So you can use print statement to do that. So what you do, you just say, we want to write into this, yes or no? Fine. Writing, we have now say, okay, who, hey, yeah, something like that. This is me. It is me. It is me. Something like that you've written. Done. Now, please listen. This will not end here. Because if you say this, okay, you now need to give it an object name. Okay, see, by default it takes an argument. See, print only will work, but it will not write it to that specific one. You have opened it for writing, so we now use this keyword file. It's actually an argument which specifies the file to write to. Okay, so this file takes an object. Maybe you can call it for short F1. That is the first one which you want to write to. Okay, this line has to be written into this text from into text file, right? And in that it takes an argument file. For this first line we are saying hey print. The second thing also we can do, okay, we can actually use the same object F1, but if you want you can use F2, but no need. Use the same object and say yes, do you know who I am, something like that. Do you know me, something like that. And then once you are done, comma, again you now say file, okay, then equal, then F1, no problem. So these two now will be there, but remember one thing, you have to close it. So F1 dot close, because it's open for writing. Okay, now it is closed. Fine. You now see one thing here, okay, because most times if it already exists, like I was telling you in the first case at hint, what happens is entire content will be overwritten. It will not be updated. Please note, we will going to do that also. Okay, please note, if it contains something, example, you've seen what we just opened, right? It has some text in between. If you try to write to it, we are going to overwrite it. Be careful of overwriting whatever. Be careful not to overwrite. Not to overwrite. So better create text files, right? Not to overwrite. Fine. So since that is done, I think yeah, we can yeah. we are good to go. Okay, so let's just start, and in between we can start working on other things. Okay, so let's start, and I will start now with this demo session. Okay, so let me first of all review day 11 class. Okay, on the day, that means yesterday, right? We read this, which I just showed you now. Fine, and then we tried doing something here. Please listen. After we read this, right, we want to do what now? Remember what we want to do here? We want to print, excuse me, the order from the least common to the most common. Let me uncomment this and show you. That's what I want to ask you. Did any of you try actually completing this? I built something which I wasn't even sure, right? You can take any movie, Indian movie of your choice, okay, and replicate this. Look for the scripts. But one thing here, the script has to be in English. Okay. Now convert to lowercase. Remember, guys, split whatever and replace any of the punctuation. That's why we imported punctuations. Okay. With what? Empty string. Okay. Or just white space. Now build the dictionary of the frequencies. Print these in alphabetical order and print the order from the least to the what? Most common. Did any of you try completing this assignment? What I chose yesterday was the Bahubali thing, okay? So anyway, leave that. Then the other one was this one. Yes or no? Did you try doing that? Okay. And another one actually can be a very interactive game. Yes or no, guys? Can we design Scrabble game? We saw that yesterday. Enter the word, and you have to put a dictionary of all this. Yes or no, guys? So I want to ask a question now. I want to know who actually did this sincerely. Did any of you try at least completing this Scrabble game? Okay. So we also went online and we saw all the words, the word value or whatever, the word value pair. How do you know? I mean, alphabet value pair, right? So letter A, I think the maximum then was Z and what I think Y, I think so has value 10, and then K and X 8, then other ones like 1, 4, like that. Okay. Find the one, like if this person makes a combination, let's say with key or something like that, it must be an English word. So you have to do what now? Check what the one that has the maximum, right? Or from this combination of keys, yes or no? And then you print that. So what you can do is you can actually make it a game, okay? You now ask how many users are there, 2 users. Now remember, from whatever concepts we studied before, you randomize it. You call shuffle. So the first person is your turn to play. When this person plays and then you capture whoever gets the maximum, that person wins. Otherwise, what happens now? The opponent wins. So it will be only if you are playing against two people, right? Either you and your opponent. If you lose, he wins. If he wins, you lose. Okay. So that is it from yesterday's stuff. So for today, what are we going to do? Okay, I closed. No, I didn't close all. So yeah, fine. Let's start. So here, let's start from the first one. Okay. So we read from files, we write to files, examples, and then we go to functions. Okay, and then there will be an assignment. Now let's start from the first one. The first one says something, hide all these guys, and then let's start. So it says here, please listen. Reading from this can be also entertaining, and it can also be challenging as well. So first thing, let's read a text file which we call example1.txt. So you need to know what I have kept in example1.txt. Yes or no, guys? So I'm going to go here now. Okay, this I was trying to create something. So inside here, we call it example1. Let's see what is inside example1. Same thing I just explained now. Hey, do you know who I am? Hey, try figuring out. Bye for now. Something like that. That is what is inside example1. Now, let's read this now. Okay, so we have actually read that. Please listen. So we read that, okay? And then we are going to print what is inside example1. So I deem it fit to comment out the rest. Fine. Okay, till here, maybe I will, yeah, this I should end it here. Fine. All right, so let's run this now. And, oh, sorry, I need to clear this completely, okay? So this is fine. Nothing is printed, obviously, because I did not print anything there. You can see it, right? So I need to print what? Line. That is what I called it. Don't forget. So I'll just say line. Line. Done. Now, hey, do you know who I am? Try figuring out. Fine, you return this as a list. No doubt. There is no brace, nothing. So if you want to understand, you can maximize this. You see it is on a single line. Okay, fine. Now, this is done. Let's see another one. Now, if that holds true, if this holds true, I'm going to comment this guy out and let's try something here. I said, try this. What are we going to try? Go here and then be like, reassign it into what? Line 2. Load it into a variable called line 2. Open the same thing using only the .read method, F5. Now, I need to print line 2. Fine. Now, this is what I mean now. Can you see that? Line 2, do you know who I am? I try figuring out. Bye for now. Yeah, why did this guy do like this? Do you know who I am? Line 2, do you know who I am? Okay, this is not what exactly I wanted to show you, but yeah. Okay, yeah, that is fine, but it should have actually shown us, uh the new lines. Actually, it should have shown us the new lines. 1 minute, line 2. Yeah, yes, please look here. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so I don't know why the compiler at times it behaves abnormally. So you see here /n. Okay, maybe if you don't understand, let's compare them side by side. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to print both. Okay, so we run it again. Fine. F5. Now this is what I was trying to communicate. So let's print line first. You see that? Let's print line 2. Okay, so you see here, there are no what escape sequences, this /n. Okay, and in the first case it was not there and it was a single line. In this case it was there, so this is fine. All right, so let's continue with the next example. Okay, so the next example says, now let's write to this file. Yes, fine. So how do we write to the file? Now we open this one, right? Okay, and then we are going to actually write into it. So there is C. This is something I know. This is something I know nothing about. Fine. Now call it, use that object. Fine. And the same thing here. This is the line 2 of the same thing, which I know nothing about. Fine. Now after I'm done, I open that for rewriting. I have to close it. Okay. So after I do this now, I need to print whatever is there. Okay. So let's see that soon. All right. So okay, that is fine. And then this wordplay. Okay, so let me just run this now. Okay, so basically is written. Please listen, guys, please listen. Is written, please listen, but there is nothing on the screen. Okay, in case if you didn't understand, let me just run this again. F5. No error, but there is nothing on the screen. That is exactly what it should give us, right? Because we wrote this file. What we can do, again, we go back and read the file. See, we have written to the file. Okay, so if you want to load the file, we go and now load it. Again, we need to open it. And we've seen how to open it. So first thing, let's see where this file is. Write file.txt. So it's going to write it in the current directory or in the current location of this. So let me go back to that location. So if I come to the location is on the desktop. And then did you see write file? Okay, I opened this. So you see here, so this is something I know nothing. This is something I know nothing about. This is line 2 of that same thing. Now let's perform this overwriting. Okay, that when we write some stuff, it's going to overwrite it. So this is something. Okay, I say, okay, I also don't know. Okay, I know nothing about this. Okay, I know nothing about it. Okay, fine, about it, and then and second one said, and yes, I mean it, and yes, I mean it, and I mean it. I mean the same thing, anything, the same thing. Okay, now if you see here, what you can actually decide, please, before we overwrite this, let's go and see what is there. We've given the same file name, yes or no. So what you can do, if you want to compare both, you can actually rename it, maybe like write file 1 or something. Now this is here, I'll close it, and let's go and execute this now. Okay, so when I run this now, yes, save, then go back here now, and when I open this, I'm going to see that obviously after some time I will take I'll look into your questions. So okay, I know nothing about it and I mean the same thing. You got the point? Fine. So let's say, okay, so now we created this. Can we try to read this now? So what you do, guys, so you can actually take from here, okay? Copy this, fine. Okay, entire thing, copy. Fine. And after you finish writing to it, you paste here. So I actually want to open this, but what's the name of that file? Write file.txt, right? WRITE, write file.txt. Fine. Now I'll get back here. And I'm actually opening it in a new, I'm storing it in a line, right? So I'll just F5 this, done. Now when I type line now, okay, it's going to come there. Okay, I know nothing about it and I mean the same thing. Fine. So this is done. All right, so I'm going to comment this out and let's look at other things now. Okay, so till here we are okay with that. Fine. So there is something now that interests us now, because if you look at all this now, you might start, okay, fine, start designing something that will make sense. Okay, so I don't know much about cricket, so I was thinking about NBA players, but leave all this NBA now. Let's think about cricket players. Okay, so say example, you have something like this. Let's say here, let's say you have something like this. Listen, guys, there is a date, so today is, you have a file. Okay, so this is ClickBuzz from Cricket Buzz. I know it's not like that, guys, don't beat me. Cricket Buzz website. So there you have day. Okay, then you have maybe, what do you call them, it's not called club. I know only clubs. Okay, leave that now. Let me just prototype what I'm trying to tell you. So today is 23rd 11 2021, and it was RCB versus CSK. So RCB scored 167 runs, okay, in 20 overs. And then today RCB and this one, and then this is CSK, and then they scored 165 runs. So you see, this is day, this is, what do you call this? Is it club? I don't know, club. This is score. Okay. Okay. Then this is maybe like super 4. Okay. So this is the first, maybe whatever. And then this is another club, club 2. Okay. And then this is the score. Okay. They don't call it score, you call it runs, right? How many number of runs? So scores is in terms of what? Runs, right? So now the thing is, I want to know, who is winning and who is trading behind. So who is winning from this text file? Two things, right? Two approaches will be there. Two things I can do. Just slice it, take it as a list. Yes or no, guys? Remember, now we are not talking of list, now we are talking of text file. So what I can do, I can take it as a list, okay, convert into a list by calling the list method only on it. Fine, convert whatever into a list, and then I can actually slice this. Yes or no? So if I call this on this, and let's say I kind of stored it in maybe like winner. Okay, now I will now say winner of, please listen, I know it is what RCB, right? Which score? What was the score? It is index is 0, 1, and 2. Yes or no? So I will say this one will return this 167, but that's not what I wanted. I want to know the difference between this index, okay, score, and that one. Okay, so the difference now is 2. And in most cases, what if it is flipped? Let's say RCB scores 165 and CSK scores 167. So I don't want to get -2. Hence, I will use this invert method called ABS, absolute what? RCB, guys. Okay, RCB will always win. Yes, AB the villas. Okay, fine. So in this case, I don't want to get negative. Yes or no? So I'm going to look for the absolute value of this. Okay, guys? Fine. Now, if that is the case, okay, let's now use our the concept of whatever we've learned so far, okay, and to see how we can actually do something like this. So let's get to the program, and here, okay, I tried loading this. Okay, so first thing, it's called scores.txt. So you look at what is inside scores.txt. Is scores only .txt. Fine. So today they played this and this was it. Okay, RCB. Oh my god, they will beat me if RCB scores less. Okay, RCB 161, CSK 167. Okay, I wanted to make it ultra. Don't worry, you got what the concept I'm trying to say now. And the game, so I need to know, right, by what margin. Okay, so we can actually use this comprehension in this case. Okay, so we know definitely, as you can see there, let me open it once again. As you can see here, it's called this. So you can see there are what? So this is the first index value, second, third, fourth, and fifth. I'm interested in only what? Third and fifth. That means index what? 2, and 4. Yes or no? And I'll find the difference between them and return it. Okay, look for the convert it, remove the any negative in between. We are going to see that where this actually is the real case which I want to do. So this is leading by 6 runs, but if you just do this without the absolute value, just see you're going to get -6 because you are saying index 2 minus index what 4. Okay, fine. So in that, if that is the case, now what we do is, okay, I'm going to comment out this actually another line, another different thing. Okay, so here what I wanted was this. Fine, so I'm going to split this, yes or no, because it's like CSV. We have read this, we have opened this, split this, no problem. And now convert, remember, since by default now we are taking it as a string, so we have to typecast it to an int and then take the absolute value in this list, since it's now converted to a list now, right? And then we can actually call the max function, no problem. Fine. So with this now, we now print, and it is 2. I believe I close all the braces. Fine. So it is 6 now. But without using the absolute value, please listen. Run it again. Okay. So we are getting 6 here. Yes or no, guys? So without the absolute value, obviously it's going to give us what? -6. And that was not what we wanted. Fine. So this is fine. Okay. Another thing you might actually do is extend this such that you can actually find the biggest margin. Okay. And like, in the biggest margin, and which team was that? So we want to print the entire team and then the biggest margin. So that was why I kind of try extending this. So comment this out, okay, close that, and then fine. So the same thing happened here. So the biggest difference by default will be 0. The same absolute value we're going to use. So whoever gets that, right? So instead of using, please listen, which approach do you find difficult? This comprehension or the second one? So you see, this is like a little lengthy and confusing. Yes or no, guys? So let's try to, as much as possible, to stick to what this comprehension, which was the first case. Okay, and that was the reason why I did this. Fine. So in case maybe like if you find time, you can actually do this. Let's continue the class. Okay, fine. So this is done, and then let's continue with the next example. Okay, so this here is fine. Okay, now let's get into wordplay now. Okay, now so you have learned so many things. All right, so you have learned so many things, and then you try, okay, fine, let me try to build something. Okay, so in this, it's like can we kind of come up with a way, okay, in which we can have fun with what text. One way you can actually do is what now? To kind of look for word lists, right, on the internet that contains something. And you try to slice and say, if this contains some stuff, I'll get to that, okay? I'll get to that in this example, okay? So I think I should comment this 5th one out, fine. Okay, and then the 6th one also. So for now, please pay attention to the 4th one. It says, okay, in this case, what I wanted to do is this. I want to know whether this word, whether something is contained in this. What is it that I want to know? Example, I have a word list. Okay, please listen. And I'm only interested in those words that has 6 letters. I'm only interested in those words that has 6 letters. So the question is, what is actually a word list, right? So let's ask Google, what is a word list? Google, tell us, what is a word list? Word, L-I-S-T. Now, if you check here, you see, it's kind of what? A word list is a list of all language lexicon with some given text corpus or given the purpose of vocabulary or question. So what is it actually? A list of words. So it's a list. We get that. So this comprehension we can use now. For example, words that someone has to learn or words that is explained in a dictionary. Got it? So can we take examples of word lists now? So you can think of anything. You can talk about tourism. You can talk about the great Mysuru, Nama Mysuru. You can talk about the Dasara festival. You can talk now. You create a dictionary of what? Say when somebody says jumbo. Jumbo means what? The big elephant. Okay, those huge elephants they use during word asara. I don't know many words actually, but there are certain things that makes meaning. Okay, so those ones now you can use to create what the lexical meaning, okay, or the dictionary meaning of such words. Fine. Now we got this now, so we can actually look them up. Like example, what is Kali Linux word list? You can actually use that. Yes or no? It's a password dictionary. Since it's a collection of passwords stored as plain text. If you are interested, why don't you actually take this, right? Kali Linux word list. So Linux. Kali Linux word list. So we can actually look at this. Kali Linux word list. Fine. So now let's look at this now, and then we go to this. I think you shouldn't give us something funny. Oh, okay. I wanted a word list which everybody can remember. Okay. So because of that, I went here. So there are some word lists. Please look here. So you see now this word is actually stored in tab whatever, comma, like they are tab in form of tabs, right? So see here, comments, comments, whatever, whatever. So you can actually look for word list that makes meaning. Maybe go to, you got the point. You got what I'm trying to say. So think of some stuff. So I'm looking at this abacus, abdomen, ablaze. So maybe let's copy something here now. Okay, and now after we are done with this, aliens are like, this is what this with A. So it goes on to Z. This is crazy. Yes or no? So now if it goes on to Z, let's copy something and try to make it big. Okay, so I'm not going to reach Z. See, I'm in C only. So let me start, maybe stop at E. I will stop at E. Okay, so we are still in C. This is crazy. So the question is, how many of them are here? You can use the count method also to find out. So once it starts with E, I will stop. Fine. Okay, it's not starting with E only. There are lots of D words there. Okay, it's not starting. Now stop. Started. Okay, Control C. Now I've copied this. Okay. Now I'm going to go to a new tab now, and then I paste something here. Okay. Now I'm done with this. I'm going to save it as what? Word list. Okay. Save as. Inside here, I'll call it word. I hope it's not there. Okay, word list is already there, so I'll call it word list 2. Okay, but that's txt. Done. Now, my interest is I want to find the words that has exactly 3 letters. Please look here. So you see 2 approaches. You do the naive way. That means you come here, right? And check everything. Now you can do it with Excel, no problem. Check those words, okay, that is exactly equal to word 3, and then you return the sum, no problem. So 3, maybe 3 or 4 letters. So 3 we have seen, okay, and but we don't even know where they are. You can start with 4, you can start with 3, okay, fine. M also we have seen taken. So this is what we want to do, something like that. So now we see here, we strip it because we don't want anything to be returned on new line, or even RCB is also a word list. You can add that also there, okay? So we need the length of those words, right? Whose what data is exactly 3. And we print them. Fine. So let's run this. Fine. Now, I said print word. Sorry, please. Sorry. I remember I called it word 2, right? But I went and I printed word list. So by the way, you can actually look into what is there in my word list also. We have word list too. In the word list, obviously, see here, the first word list, there are no things actually. No words that are what? Exactly 3 characters. You got the point? Fine. So it's not there. So I go to word list 2 now. So I'll go back here and I'll go to word list 2. Fine. So I stored it in this variable, no problem, called word list, no doubt. So open this, run it again. Now you see, these are those words. Okay. M, at, book, God, whatever, whatever. Okay. Please listen. There'll be an assignment very soon now. Just listen. So this is done. So instead of printing 6 letters, I printed only 3. No doubt? Fine. Now, this is fine. Let's go back here. So can you try this? Now, look here. Please listen. Please listen. This is still not what? This comprehension. Yes or no? So I'm going to comment this out. Control I. Sorry, Control Z. Sorry, that disappeared. Okay, so this is fine. I want to comment this guy out. That's not what I wanted. Okay, I want to use what? List comprehension. Okay, so and you see here it is actually easier for me. So what I say, try this. Okay, so for in that, okay, fine, that one, blah blah blah. So instead of that, obviously I can, please look here, you got what I'm trying to say. Instead of you repeating all this stuff, yes, so you just comment this out and just run this, the same thing. Okay, the same thing you're gonna get, same thing. Okay, so instead of 6 you say 3. Got my point? Fine. So let's look at the next thing. So the next example says, okay, now let's look for words that start with and end with. We start with and one thing, and then we try to look at end with. Please listen. So if it starts with something, okay, and end with something, now we don't know, right? So we need to look at our word list. If it's not there, it's not going to return anything. Word list 2 starts with AB. So many will come. Maybe let's start with A will, lots of them will come. Maybe let's start with AML, or sorry, AL or AG. Okay, let me start with AF. Okay, guys, so that I will get very few. AF, or maybe like I will look for something that start with maybe like DC. I'm not sure DC will not be there. DO or CU will be there, or CY, okay? Or DA also will be there. So let's start with any of those. Now, if you look at this, so we say, okay, let's print what now? The word list is there, okay? Now, remember it's called word list 2. Word list 2. In word list 2, fine, okay, fine, .txt, this is done. Now, let's start with, remember guys, we're going to say start with AC, like AC, or maybe like DB. Okay, no DB, DA, fine. Let me just run this now and then bring the word. Fine. So these are those words, right? So one thing I want you to do, please listen. Count how many of the words are there. So these are those words, right? It starts with AC or what? DA. That will always be here, obviously. Okay, that will be there. Fine. That. Fine. Now, how about something that ends with? Something that ends with, actually. So how do we do that? Guys, are you listening? Okay, so if you want to find whether it ends with, see, look here. It starts with something and ends with DA. Please listen. This starts with AC and ends with what? Starts with AC and ends with DA. Now let's try to modify this. Okay, I'm going to copy the same program. Okay. Now what I want to do is it should start with what? AC. Okay, and end with. You got the point now. Fine. So how do we write it? I'm just looking at the screen now. So the same thing we are going to repeat. Okay, but I want somebody to help me now. Okay, I hope guys you are listening, right? So starts with AC, what? It is and. Starts with AC, okay? And. Ends with. Ends with, please let's look at some words here before we go and get something that is not existing. So from whatever list we have, please listen. It starts with AC, fine. Okay, AC, and ends with maybe TY. Please listen. AC and ends with TY. Okay, AC and ends with TY. Only one I have seen, yes or no? Only one I have seen, TE. Okay, I'll start with end with T. I can start with T. Please listen. So I'll get many of them. Start with AC and end with T. 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 Fine. So let's see how many of them. Okay. So start with AC, no doubt. Fine, guys. Now this, since we want both, we're going to change it to and. Now it's going to end with what? T. So we know here T. But this is not ending. I want how to modify this, guys. I have come here now, so this is the problem. How do I modify this? Are you listening, guys? How do I modify this? Can somebody just type? Okay, I will continue. So remember what we saw, right? -1, -2, right? The last index. So if it ends with that, I need one only. Yes or no? Fine. Ends with that. So let's see if you're going to get the same thing. Fine. So now you see, this was what exactly we wanted. Fine. Please look here. It starts with AC and ends with T. That starts with AC and ends with TOR. Activator. Okay. Fine. Now we know that this is okay. Can we now ask ourselves this question? Okay. How about checking if it starts with a vowel? How about checking if it starts with a vowel? Yes. So vowels will be A, E, I, O, U. Fine. So in this A, E, I, O, U, let's check. That is the last one, and we introduce the concept of dictionary and we wind up. Okay, so look, sorry, not dictionary, function. So here we have seen it, right? So this word, we are opening what? Word 2, word list 2, no doubt. Fine. And in this case, you want to check the ones that starts with what? A or E. Okay, now look here. How many of them? Percentage. Please listen, percentage. Okay, so what you can actually do is to print this. Before you print the percentage, print them, right? Print what? The what? The count. Okay, so you can actually print here count. Instead of that, I'll just print it here, count. Okay, so there are 459 of them. So 459, what is the total number of that, right? So you can actually say len of what? Word. Fine, it is word. Sorry, len of word is 9. It's not what I meant actually. Word list, that was what you got my point, guys. So I needed word list. Word list. Okay, so if I just type word list, okay, I'm going to get so many. 506 of them are there. You got the point, guys. 506, but I don't want to do this. This is all the word lists that are there. But my interest is in the length of this word list. Okay, so I will go down and then I will just say, okay, length of word list. WRDLIST. Fine. Okay, so this is what you needed. Okay, so please look here, 2119. And remember we saw 4 something before. That was what? Count, right? So 4, I think let's print count again. Yes, so 459. So you can actually do the sum. 459 divided by what? 2119. Enter. So you see it's the same thing, right? 21.6 stuff. You got the point, guys? So this is what I'm trying to say. So you can actually do this and then you wrap it around and say multiply by 100 and you get 21.7. Fine. So on this note, we will wind up. But before we wind up, let's introduce the concept of function. Okay. So I will explain something quickly on the function. Okay. And then we have actually seen that. But let's talk about functions, and tomorrow we continue the class on functions alone. Fine. So a quick thing here. So we go back now and we look at functions. So F-U-N-C-T-I-N-S. So what is a function actually? Simply put, a block of code that sits there, it does nothing until it is being called. So you might take a dictionary meaning of that. Functions in Python. So we go back here, we say functions in Python. Functions, functions in Python 3. What is it actually? How do you define a function? It's a block of code which runs when it's being called. No problem, right? A function is a block of code which runs when it's being called. You can pass data known as parameters into a function. A function can return data as what? Whatever, a result. So the first one, we have printed hello world, right or wrong, guys? So we can actually now do what now? Run the same example, okay? So how do we do this? We can do this same example. So what we forget is the function. Okay, yes, in creating a function in Python, we use the def keyword. Done. So only simple thing now, we say def. What say here? Say hello. Hello. Now it's a function, right? It's not going to take any arguments. Colon. Remember to what? Indent it. So we now say print. Okay, hello world. That's it. Now when you run this now, hello world, nothing you're gonna get until you now go and say hello. Fine. So this is function definition, and then this is function call. So why do we need function? Why do we need function? For what? Function definition. So why do we need function now? For what? Reusability. For reusability. Just imagine what we have encountered so far. In this code, right? So whenever I want to run this, what I will do? Please look here. This code, what I do, every time I want to do this, I go and run this again. So I can actually change this now into what? A function, right? So what I want you to do is try to turn many of the stuff into functions. So I will say def what I will call these guys now. Remember to push this inside, okay, indent it. So to avoid confusion, take a new thing now. Okay, so def I will say calculate. Okay, now cal is a whatever, calculate is also the cal whatever, func. Okay, Ari, why is it blue? I don't get it now. Okay, so fine, it's overwriting, I think so, because this should not be there as a keyword. Calci, fine, same thing. Now colon. Now please remember here, when I try to do this now, I'm going to get an error. Please listen. So though I'm going to call Cassie here, okay? Now, but it will tell me it's unindented, F5. So expected an indented block, okay? So what happens now when I do this now? Actually, there is a shortcut. There is a shortcut to completing this. So that shortcut will be, I have forgotten. Can somebody help me? I think press tab. Yes, got it. Okay, press tab. Fine, select and press tab. So when I now run this now, okay, so it's there. Now you see it here, right? So this program now have turned it into what? A function. You got the point, guys? So look here. The first one was printed, right? So using this one has not been printed using a function. Okay, so simply is a block of code, does sits there, does nothing until it is being called. Fine. So why do we need that? For readability, to make your what readable, also usability, which you call inheritance in object-oriented programming language, inheritance, and it makes it what? Readable. It makes your code readability. Fine. Readability, and makes it actually easy to understand and follow, right? Easy to understand, also easy to understand and follow, okay, because of the indentation and stuff. Okay, fine, and follow. Okay, so what I want you to do now, what will be your assignment? Turn many of the programs you've written into functions. Your assignments. Tomorrow they will ask me, sir, what is the assignment, sir? Turn all the codes we have written into functions, as many as possible. So rewrite many of them using functions. Okay, rewrite at least rewrite at least 10 assignments using functions. Easy, right? First thing, using functions. So for now, do without parameters. So tomorrow we are going to see how pass parameters to that. Okay. So on this note, I want to tell you now to do some stuff. This is first assignment. Please look here. Second assignment. Please look here. Second assignment. Remember, I asked you to print something. I asked you to print a. We print this, and I will give you another thing to print. I want to ask you, let's try to draw a square using function. Can you draw shapes? Draw shapes using functions. Using what? Functions. Okay? Question. Say, look here. I want to draw star. Oh, sorry, I want to draw a square. So a square is like this, right? So let's say I will use star or plus whatever. Okay? Like this, 5, maybe 6. Okay? Here I'm going to, please look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now here I have 1. Okay? Then I have 2. Then I start again. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I close here. Please listen. This is very interesting. Okay. Now, two things you can do. Okay. First thing, you can use print statement. Yes or no? Print star, 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 star. No doubt. Smartly, what you can do. Please look here. How many times will you print this? So I'll say print. First one. Print what? Star. Yes. Times what? 7. No problem. Yes or no? Times 7. The first one, barote. Now look here. Second one, I will print star. Please listen. Print star times 1. Got it? Print star only. Into times 1 is same thing as print star. Now look here, comma. Now I need, these are empty spaces. Yes or no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to print empty spaces into 5. Agreed. After that, again, I need to print star. You got the point? So I'll print star. This completed. Done. I'll repeat the same thing here. And lastly, I'll repeat this. So this is what I want you to do as an assignment. Okay. And lastly, if you can do this, okay, try to print other shapes. So this shape will look like this. Same thing, similar approach. Now here I want you to use plus. Sorry, I want to draw something. Plus, like this 1 plus will be here, 2 pluses will be here, like Pascal's triangle. Okay. 1, 2, 3. It's actually 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1, 4, whatever. But anyway, leave Pascal's triangle now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Try to print this shape using your function or whatever. Okay, your functions. Okay. So I hope you understood what I explained here, guys. Okay. So I've given just a few things here. And tomorrow we wind up with this and try to look at maybe some other stuff, maybe where we look into object orientation, okay, and try to maybe like design as another game tomorrow. Okay, fine. Okay, take care. On this note, I want to thank you guys for listening. And yeah, if you have any questions, guys, I just want to see the screen for a while and then we wind up. Okay. And sorry about the technical glitch, it happens, you see. Yes. All right. So in the absence of any question, guys, you are also free to message in the group, guys. I don't know. Maybe you are busy with college work, I get that. But still, at least try, thank you, Anjali, try as much as possible to make this